You're 35 years old. Your banking app shows a number that would take most of your coworkers 40 years to save. Nobody at your job knows. Not your manager, not your closest friend at work. 10 years ago, you had $0 in savings and $3,000 in credit card debt. This is exactly what changed. At 25, you were doing everything you were told to do. You had a degree, you had an entry-level job, you paid your rent on time, and somehow, at the end of every month, there was nothing left. You told yourself it was normal. Everyone your age was in the same position: student loans, credit card minimums, a bank balance that never grew. It felt less like a problem and more like just how life worked in your 20s. Then your roommate lost his job. No warning, no severance. Within 6 weeks, he couldn't cover his half of the rent. Watching him panic, realizing he had absolutely nothing to fall back on, was the first time you actually felt scared for your own future. That was the moment something shifted. Not a New Year's resolution, not a podcast episode, just a quiet, uncomfortable realization. If the same thing happened to you, you wouldn't survive it either. So you started with the most boring thing possible: a budget. Not a complicated app, not a financial advisor, just a simple rule. 50% of your income went to needs, 30% to wants, 20% to savings and debt. It wasn't exciting. Some months, that 20% was barely $100. But for the first time, you knew exactly where your money was going instead of wondering where it went. The first goal wasn't investing. It was building an emergency fund, enough to cover 3 months of expenses if something went wrong. It took almost a year. It felt painfully slow. But here's what nobody tells you: that emergency fund isn't really about the money. It's about the fact that for the first time in your adult life, a single bad month couldn't destroy you. That safety changes how you make every decision after it. At 28, your company offered a 401k match. Free money, if you contributed enough. You'd ignored it for 3 years because you didn't understand it and assumed you couldn't afford it. Once your emergency fund was done, that changed. You contributed just enough to get the full match and opened a Roth IRA on the side, putting in whatever you could each month. Here's the part that actually mattered: $200 a month. Invested consistently. Doesn't sound like much, but left alone for 10 years in the market, that same $200 a month can grow into something close to $40,000. Most of it not from what you put in, but from what it earned on its own. That's the part nobody explains clearly. You're not just saving money, you're buying time. Time for your money to work without you. Around the same time, you picked up freelance work on the side. A few hours a week, nothing dramatic. Every dollar from it went straight into investments. Not lifestyle, not upgrades, just growth. At 31, you got a promotion, a real one, a meaningful raise. This is usually where things fall apart for people. A bigger paycheck quietly becomes a bigger apartment, a nicer car, dinners out 3 times a week. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it's the reason so many high earners still live paycheck to paycheck. You made a decision instead. Your spending would stay almost exactly the same. The raise, nearly all of it, went straight into your investment accounts. From the outside, nothing about your life looked different. Same apartment, same car. Your co-workers who spent every raise on something new couldn't understand why you still drove a 10-year-old car. What they couldn't see was the account balance growing quietly in the background, month after month. This is the part that defines the entire journey. Getting rich quietly was never about one big decision. It was about making the same small, unremarkable choice. Invest first, spend what's left, over and over again, for years, when nobody was watching and nothing felt like it was happening. Now you're 35. The number in your account isn't 7 figures because of luck, or a windfall, or a business that took off overnight. It's the result of 10 years of unremarkable decisions that compounded into something remarkable. You still go to work. Your title hasn't changed dramatically. Nobody in the office knows what your accounts look like, and you've stopped needing them to. The goal was never to look wealthy. It was to actually be free. Free from the fear your roommate felt that day. Free from needing anyone's permission to make a decision about your own life. That's what financial freedom quietly feels like. Not a private jet, just the ability to sleep at night. If you're starting at zero right now, here are the 3 things that actually mattered, in order. 1. Build a small emergency fund before anything else. It's not exciting, but it's the foundation everything else stands on. 2. Get any free employer match. Then open a retirement account, even if you can only contribute a small amount. Time matters more than the amount. 3. When your income grows, let your investments grow with it, not your lifestyle. That single habit is the real difference between people who build wealth quietly and people who never do. If this resonated with you, subscribe. This channel is about exactly this, the quiet, unremarkable path to financial freedom. And let me know in the comments, what's the first financial milestone you're working toward right now?